Hello, and welcome to Warrior Supercast. I'm Jason Grisgoric, your host, and welcoming to our fine table tonight, Anthony Smith, Superintendent of Woods Schools. Our intent is always to bring you here, and glad you could make it for the second show. I understand you were a little bit busy the last time we got together.
Absolutely.
But we know you're bringing fabulous things to the district and to our discussion.
Thank you.
Today, we're bringing on a very special guest, Eric Martin from Woods High School, the principal.
Yes, thank you.
Most people get afraid when they bring the principal or go to the principal's office. We're bringing the office to the principal today, I think.
Yes. Actually, that was the old days.
Okay.
These are the new times. So.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. And again, that's a great way to put today's topic. We're going to continue our discussion from the last time in which we were discussing new tech education. Let's start, before we get into discussing it at the high school, Mr. Smith, what is your philosophy and your feel to the new tech experience coming to Woods School District?
That's a great question, Jason. I had the pleasure of seeing the first new tech school in Napa Valley approximately 19 years ago. And it was a very innovative approach about how students began to collaborate and work with each other. And we know out there in the industry, as it relates to businesses, how do you really make your product sell? It's how you generate interest and how you make it marketable for other people to work side by side with you and for future employees.
So I guess taking a look at that, what was the appeal to bring it to Winton Woods?
Well, it's very interesting. You know, when I arrived at Winton Woods 2.5 years ago, it was here. Mm-hmm. It was connected to the Academy of Global Studies. And so I was very excited knowing that I'd seen it before. It's a transitional model that can fit in any district, but you have to have the right people in place to make sure that it's operational. It can work with any child, regardless if the child has disabilities, regardless if they're a gifted student or a student who functions in the middle of the road. So we were trying to find something that we knew could be universal, that could be a deliverable model, and something that the community and the business community could embrace as something that could strengthen our community.
It sounds as if it is a bridging, a piece of learning to bridge all of the community together, not
Absolutely.
Just a student, but the student to the business community, the governments and the like. Is that something we're looking towards?
Yeah, because I think people have to understand it's very, very instrumental to make sure that we have a strong community, but also a strong school system. And also, you know, when you look at the two, they are seamless. You are never going to see a very strong community and a weak school system. And vice versa, you're not going to see a strong school and a weak community. So the new tech brand, the new tech operational, the philosophy, the ideas, the concepts, all talk about how to embrace the work together to create a level that's seamless, and there's a authentic process that says, wow, these kids are able to do something that people couldn't imagine that they would be able to do.
Last time on the podcast, we talked pretty much globally and giving what I would call the definition to what is new tech and how it will affect and change Winton Woods. Today we have Eric Martin on the program with us, and he's going to be looking at it from the high school perspective.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to look at it. So what does new tech mean to you personally? And then let's bring it into the real realm, and what does it mean to the high school?
Right. For me, new tech is a way to engage students on a totally different level than what we've done in the past or what we've done historically with education. New tech provides an opportunity for us to infuse some technology while at the same time gives students an opportunity to be critical thinkers and own their own educational experience.
Do you think with new tech it's changing the way we look at high school learning?
Yes, most definitely. And I think the emphasis is on that whole opportunity for kids to be active participants in their learning process. So, for example, and I can bore you with way back when I went through my process in terms of school, but a lot of my experience relied on me having the ability to exercise or to use my whole memorization type skill.
Sure.
Today's students although we still rely on some of that, today's students need an opportunity to really showcase all the other skills that they bring to the table. And we know as well, if we're able to engage students better, we're going to get a better response, as well as kids are going to retain and understand what we're trying to teach them better.
Now that you obviously have been implementing the idea of new tech, for those who haven't been to the high school or haven't been around, what would someone that's a prospective student that's just coming into the high school go in and say, that's a new tech classroom? Or what does new tech look to Wynwood's High School?
One of the things that we had to do, because at the inception of AGS, and Academy of Global Studies, it was all new tech and AGS was like hand in hand. And when you articulated it, a lot of times people would confuse the two. They're actually two different things. New Tech Academy is a component of AGS. And within that component lives wall-to-wall PBL. It also lives one-to-one technology. It also lives the opportunity for students to be critical thinker and ask those questions, those I wonders, to really extend that whole opportunity for kids to really challenge what they believe to be or what they are attempting to learn. So it's that whole opportunity in terms of really pushing the envelope.
I'm going to open this up to both of you, and you may want to both answer the question, obviously not simultaneously. But we're looking at technology. You hear that a lot. I mean, the room will stay the same, but the technology is changing. Where is the tech coming from? Because obviously it's just not falling from the sky. Where are we receiving either the technology, as in, obviously I'm going to assume laptops, we're kind of shying away from the desktop model. It sounds like a lot of movement and mobility. Where is this all coming from?
Well, there are two parts. As Mr. Martin mentioned earlier, the new tech, the AGS concept, those students were equipped with laptops, one-to-one technology. And imagine being in the school where you see one group of students have it and the other group of students do not. That creates some dissension.
Sure.
And so we've been working with our tech coordinator and our business manager and our treasurer to make sure that we had the revenue in order to accommodate all of the students. So we've been working on that, and it's been going very, very well. The whole objective is to make sure that our entire district becomes a one-to-one device, one-to-one assisted device, meaning that all of our kids have the ability to access technology regardless of what the environment says it should look like. That just kind of makes us become a very innovative system it becomes very marketable. People want to be part of that system. And not just that it's a Chromebook or it's a laptop, but the instruments actually work. All right, that's the difference.
Sure.
So we're trying to keep our kids with the latest and the best just to make sure that they're on the cutting edge and they can respond to the demands of 21st century learning.
And the thing that I would piggyback on that, because we live it every day at the high school, just experience, or just imagine a classroom where there's a set of textbooks, all right? Although there are textbooks and there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of content in it, you're still a little limited in terms of being able to go beyond and expand that conversation. When you introduce the idea of one-to-one technology into that whole framework of the classroom, now not only do we have the ability to access the content in that textbook if we just had the one textbook, but now we've expanded it to a whole nother level. There's the possibility of us accessing 100 textbooks.
Well, I was going to say, would you not call it the global library?
Exactly.
Yeah, because the historical landmark has changed. You know, as soon as the textbook comes out, it's outdated.
Sure.
The technology never goes away. It's always to be, you're able to refresh it and add more calibrations to it. Just make it a little more expansive to our students. Because our students are ready for technology, we had to make sure that we were ready for our kids.
And I think that is a wise comment in the fact that, the 3-year-olds are now picking up a phone and already being able to maneuver throughout that virtual world. We you as instructors and we as people pushing information need to be ready to balance that. When people see something like that, with it being a laptop or a Chromebook or a tablet, Do people see a cost prohibitive nature and get frightened, or is it more of a draw?
Well, I think it's two parts. There is a draw, and I think some people who are not familiar with the technology think that this could be a overwhelming, obstacle as it relates to dollars and cents. But if you look at the price of a textbook over that long haul, and you're talking about 7 subjects and 7 books, the Chromebook definitely outweighs that instrument. And then the other part, I know when I was in school, there were books, and what you had the beginning of the book called New, and then you had Good, and then you had Poor, and then you had Fair, and somebody's going to get that poor book where a few pages may be missing, which is probably the most important part of the chapter.
Right.
And as you take that book home and you maneuver through it, it weighs you down. Kids are very reluctant to take books home. And when you start talking about the digital age, it's not in the textbook, it's in the resources and it's in the technology that you can actually move the kid through the process much, much quicker than a textbook.
I want to cover one other topic before we kind of wrap up today, and you touched on it greatly. I think is the notion of responsibility. People are more apt to forget a book. More people are apt to do that. But when you have something that has some heft and weight to it, not that a book does not have heft and weight to it, the idea that a Chromebook does, or a laptop, or a tablet, do you not see that kind of idea, of responsibility change in the halls?
Actually, I've been fortunate. This is my second year as the high school principal, and the high school had went through a process in terms of where they took the time to kind of play with each opportunity for kids to access the technology. So they went through a phase of where the technology still lived in the classroom in a Chromebook cart or in a laptop cart. They went through the process to where the kid would carry it the whole day and then take it back to its assigned cart at the end of the day. And then they went through a process to where, let's see if the kids can take it home. So I had the privilege of coming in on the tail end of that. Students were already taking devices home. As Mr. Smith talked about it, we talked a little earlier about it. We had a small segment of our population. We're over 1,000 students at the high school. So we have roughly about 300 kids accessing that. So when you think in terms of expanding this to over 1,000 kids, eyes get a little big, and then you're forced to make sure that you don't challenge yourself with the old way of thinking, giving students an opportunity to really show that they have the ability to take care of the products that we provide them with, while at the same time use them in the manner in which they're supposed to be used. So we're excited about what students are doing with our one-to-one technology as well as the other devices within the building.
And the students are being very responsible with the technology.
Yes.
So we're very excited about that. It's about expectations.
Yes.
Well, before we wrap up, I do want to have Mr. Martin give us one final comment. If you were to sum up new tech at Winton Woods High School, what would a small phrase or lasting comment be that you foresee now going forward for the district, or for basically the high school especially?
I think it goes back to one of the things that often comes up when we talk about what we should be doing for students, just in education in general. We are taking a huge leap in terms of being at the forefront to ensuring that all of our students that come through our door every single day have the opportunity to be successful as possible.
Success.
Yes.
I think that is a great key word. Mr. Smith, I want to give you the opportunity because I believe that new tech is still something new and fresh in the district's mind.
Yes, sir.
And I'm talking the district, as we talked about in the first podcast, the district being the community.
Yes, sir.
Our Winton Woods family. There may be people who are still not certain of what's going on, and again, we're here to help in that definition. You and I are going to lead these people through and help the community. But for those still needing more help, there is a day in which the district is going to be opening their doors to the public to explain new tech. Am I
Yes,
correct on
March
that?
8th.
March 8th.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to be at the high school.
Yes.
It's pretty much a hands-on kind of question and answer.
Digital demonstrations,
That's
so people can understand the value of this work that we're talking about. If I had just a few words to just encapsulate everything that we've discussed, I'll use two precious metals, and I'll use silver and gold. All right. We still have traditional education. We still will have traditional conversations. So it's not just a technology set aside by itself. There are still traditional educational experiences that take place. And I don't want the public to think that this is all about projects and not about instruction. So new tech is not the silver bullet, but in my opinion, it's a golden opportunity.
I think that is some wise words to close on for today. We will be back next month. Mr. Smith and I will be bringing more people to the desk,
Yes,
explaining the wonders that are coming to the Wittenwood School District. I look forward to that, and I look forward to bringing that to you as well. This has been Warrior Super Chat. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.